So EA has finally clarified how crossplay is going to work in Battlefield 6, and honestly, this is a really good thing. There's been a lot of confusion about console versus PC matchmaking, whether PlayStation and Xbox players would get their own lobbies, and what happens if you just don't want crossplay at all. Well, EA has finally set the record straight. EA says that everyone in the same matchmaking pool, whether it's PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, if you choose to put crossplay on, will be able to play with each other, but matchmaking prioritizes console players together first, then blends in PC if needed. This helps avoid the massive input differences between the controller versus mouse and keyboard. If you choose to turn crossplay off, you only play against people on your exact platform. For example, PS5 versus PS5 only, or PC versus PC only. This is good for players who don't want to deal with either keyboard and mouse advantage, or players on PC who don't want to fight against players on console that have aim assist. EA has specified, however, that there is no console only crossplay, and they said that there's no option for a PlayStation versus Xbox only. It's either full crossplay on or strictly platform only. I think this is a good thing because it prioritizes fairness in matchmaking, because when you prioritize console versus console, it ensures that most matches feel balanced in terms of input. PC players won't dominate lobbies with their mouse accuracy unless necessary, right? And then you got the player choice, because players can opt out entirely if they don't like crossplay. Battlefield has historically struggled with the player count in later months. I mean, having all platforms in one pool, it ensures faster matchmaking and healthier lobbies. I mean, no splitting the base, because by not allowing Xbox versus PlayStation only, EA, what it does, it avoids fracturing players into too many groups. More groups equals longer wait times, which Battlefield obviously cannot afford. In Call of Duty, Warzone forces console and PC lobbies together if you play with a PC friend. COD doesn't give the same level of opt-out flexibility that Battlefield does. In Fortnite, you're locked to the input method, so controller versus keyboard and mouse regardless of platform, and Battlefield's system is simpler, platform-based choice. And in Apex Legends, crossplay is honestly default, but PC/console skill gap still sparks debate, and Battlefield tries to mitigate that with prioritized console rule. So I think that's definitely a good thing. And I know there's a huge concern about cheating, so console players won't have to worry about crossplay bringing PC cheaters. The console priority matchmaking, it will reduce this risk unless the population is really low. Plus, if you're really worried, you can always turn crossplay off. And I know there are some Xbox and PlayStation players out there that might be annoyed that they can't avoid PC without avoiding the other console. And EA's reasoning makes sense, because there's too many splits, which will equal dead lobbies. And EA is betting on larger pools, which will equal faster matches. I think this is a good thing, but of course they could always revisit this decision if the community feedback demands console only option. But I think it's still a good thing, because it will prioritize those faster matches and make sure that there's no dead lobbies. But of course, having the prioritization of console only, or more so console first, is still a good thing. And this could actually save Battlefield, because Battlefield has had a population issue in every single game post-launch. Crossplay done right means they will have faster matchmaking, they'll have larger communities staying together longer, and a less dead game. And I guess this brings into question really about crossplay and how it was really supposed to unite all gamers. I mean, console, PC, even mobile players in some cases, I mean, in one community. And on paper it sounds amazing, and more players means faster matchmaking times. You have more diverse lobbies and the chance to play with friends across different systems, right? But when that convenience comes with inevitable fairness, that is the part that comes into question, right? Because when you throw console players in with controllers into the same lobbies as PC players with mouse and keyboard setups, and often with hardware that runs games at a higher frame rate, faster response times, and customizable settings, the balance does begin to shift and tilt a little bit. And that's where the demand for that console only matchmaking comes in. That's why a lot of players want console only, and a lot of people argue that console players deserve their own ecosystem in order to keep things fair, and others also say that it splits the communities and damages the matchmaking quality and overall population, right? That equals dead games. But PC players often have that access to the high refresh rate monitors, the lower latency, and more precise control, right? Even if consoles are powerful now, now a mid-tier PC can easily outperform them in responsiveness. And then you got the question of controller versus mouse and keyboard. And while aim assist is designed to help level the playing field, it's controversial, right? Because console players argue that they can lose out on the long range fights even when reaction time is crucial, because mouse and keyboard players inherently provide the faster flick shots and higher precision. And a lot of console players simply want to know that the person that they're facing has roughly the same capabilities in terms of input and hardware, and that way it's on the same level playing field. But that's not an unreasonable request in my opinion, but it's about that competitive integrity and not just winning, right? So for example, in Call of Duty or Fortnite, it's common to hear that a lot of console players are frustrated about dying to someone who could see more frames and react quickly and more quicker and use an advanced customization. And that feeling is not just losing, it's losing to something that feels unfair. And on the flip side, you got the mixed matchmaking supporters who will bring in their own arguments, right? Because they say it incentivizes stronger player base, because when you combine console and PC lobbies, the player pool grows exponentially, and that means that you got the faster matchmaking times, especially for niche playlists or those late night sessions. And when you split console and PC, it can cause those long wait times and it kills those smaller game modes. When you play with friends, this is perhaps the biggest advantage here. A lot of people don't want to be locked out of playing with friends just because one has a PlayStation and another has a gaming PC. Mixed matchmaking keeps those communities connected. Of course, facing PC players might actually push console players to get better. You learn those different strategies, experience different skill levels, and the challenge just keeps things interesting. I mean, arguments can be made on both sides. Many PC players argue that aim assist on controllers is already so strong that it does balance things out. In fact, some claim that aim assist is an unfair advantage for controller players in close quarters combat. So aside from this, mixed matchmaking isn't unfair, it might just be different. But yeah, so these things can be looked at from both sides, and both make equal arguments. I think they're totally fair in whatever arguments they would bring, the pros and cons of both. But in terms of the population, faster matchmaking times and prioritizing that, I think that should still be the key here. And I like the way that they're handling this, that console to console will be the priority, and then of course if they need to populate the lobby even more, they will bring in PC players. But of course the priority should always be the console to console prioritization here. So I think they're handling this absolutely correct. But if people are totally turned off by the thought of playing against any PC players, then of course they have that option of turning crossplay completely off. I think this is a good balance here, and I think they're doing this absolutely right here. But let me know again what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that they should have the option to have only crossplay between consoles and having the PC option totally off, or is this good with the mixed matchmaking that they are going in right now? But anyways, let me know all of you guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload a video. Now with that being said, this is GCP signing off.